Oh, fuck, fuck, fuck. Why do I watch these fucking terrible ass movies? There's no reason. Doing this to myself. I'm fucking torturing myself with the bullshit. It's just not right. It's not right. I have to fucking do this. Anyways. Alright. Hello everyone. This is Rich. And I am back with number 3 for Mr. Rich's 5 more of the worst films that I own. And today we're looking at number 3. Final Cut. A movie made in 1993. I'll give you the rundown. It's also called Spent Youth. Directed by Chris Lechler. Starring John Brooks, Chip Flanagan. It has a 2.6 on imdb. And it doesn't exist on RottenTomatoes.com. And if you want to buy this exact gem from Canada, because it's only available in Canada for some fucking reason, it's on eBay right now, 1 copy for $3, but it's shipping through Pennsylvania. But it's a Canadian-made copy. Oh, man. This movie's fucking terrible. It's so bad. I know I'm going to repeat that like 10,000 times. I'm trying to make this the shortest video that I can because it is just awful. Final Cut. As I said, it's essentially this guy's father dies, right? And he's a sort of pseudo filmmaker actor. And he goes on the road and meets up with this really fat looking guy, and they kind of like meet up and start talking and stuff, and eventually you find out that he's like a really weird ass dude. He's really nice, but then like he finds really weird, and that he wants to he makes movies as well, but you're like, well, what kind of movies? He's like, oh, independent films. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? And this guy Lance, that's the guy, I think it's Chip Flanagan, eventually you find out that Lance, he's like, oh, I want you to star in my new movie. And eventually you find out, when he gets to his destination, that essentially his movie is a snuff film. And that's what he does for a living. The fat guy goes around America trying to find people to make fucking snuff movies about. This movie is, I believe, 78 minutes long, something of that sort. This movie is so fucking terrible. Like, I mean, you could put this movie maybe in 40 minutes. Take out all the extra bullshit, all the little artsy crap that's inside of it, and it's about 40 minutes at best. It's shot terribly, by the way. I know it's 1993, but it's like shot on like maybe a Super VHS or some shit. And it just makes me angry to no end. And my phone apparently agrees with that. What else can I say about this? Oh yeah, when he packs his bag in the beginning, it's like you're thinking, oh, okay, he's gonna go on the road and start hitchhiking. He's gonna get the essentials, right? He packs like a 4-year-old girl attempting to run away from home does. He like puts in like a pair of pants, an extra shirt, and then he like, here, I'll put my camera in here, and then 1 sandwich that I bought from Wawa, and then like a book. And it's like, okay, in this giant ass fucking military sack that I have 4 things. I'm ready to go on a cross-country adventure. He has no money, by the way, too. I think he has like maybe $50 to his name or some shit like that, and then he's done. And this guy looked, the guy, the really fat guy that does the snuff films, what the hell does he look like? He looks like the big ass fucking fat guy that's in a lot of trauma movies, and I'm trying to think of the fucking guy's name. I didn't write it down. But he looks like that guy. And the guy actually kind of looks a little bit like the guy who played Mitchell. Like a really fat version of the guy who played Mitchell in Mitchell. I forget his name too. This guy, wait a minute. I have the Mystery Science Theater of it really quick. Kind of looks like a fat version of that guy. It'll zoom in, mind you. It's like a fat version of that guy with glasses. To go on, this film continues on with the main character after about, like, I think a day or two on the road, just like filming bullshit and like having all this weird inner monologue, like they're trying to redo Deathbed, the bed that eats. He meets up with the Buck character, and they just hit it off, and they start driving with one another, and apparently Buck drives this, like, broken down taxi or some shit, and, it's just terrible. He goes from these place to place, essentially meeting up with these characters. They're like, oh, Buck, oh, I'm glad you're here. You know, I got something cool to show you. And, like, apparently, like, what you find out is he goes in the back and gives them his newest, like, snuff tape. And they give him, like, I guess they trade Z's or some shit, something else that they have. And they give him, like, a wad of cash for the fucking video. I'm like, alright, well, that's fucking weird. Now, there are other films that try to do this, like the newest one being a Serbian film, which I talked about in one of my last Craptacular reviews. And there's other older films like Snuff or 8mm that attempt this kind of thing. This has got to be like the worst attempt at it that I've ever seen. At the end, when you do see this kind of shit, I'll show pictures of like the guy. It kind of reminds me of Video Violence 2, where it has the main guy Eli, and he's like on his show going, okay kids, we got a special guest today, it's Lance, and he's all like, you know, kind of like going like from Video Violence 2, where he's like has that chick on, and she's like, they're like torturing her and shit, so it's almost like live snuff in a way, but with his it was like trying to do like the same like Eli show. And he's like, okay, now we're going to torture Lance, and it's going to be awesome. And he wears this, like, I don't know if you could see it on here. I'll show better pictures somewhere on the side here or some shit. But he's wearing this, like, weird gimp mask the whole time we're at the end where he's killing people. And it looks fucking weird. But, like, it's really funny that he was, like, all of a sudden turning into... I thought of, like, the Howard and Eli show immediately when they started doing that Last End shtick where he's like torturing them and he's going to be like the main guy. It's like, it's the Uncle Buck show. I'm like, oh shit, they're going into Video Violence 2 territory with this one. Oh, motherfuck. Yeah, this was just really hard to watch. Even for 78 minutes, it was terrible. And the fact that I got this from one of my fans, my super fan, Super Colton, sent me this movie, I'd say almost a year and a half ago, and it sat on my shelf for the longest ass time. It's a whole lot of crap, and I really do think, because Super Colton sent me this movie, I think, like, it's one of those things where he's not really my friend anymore, he's like a frenemy. Oh. And it comes in this crappy ass paper case, like, it comes like in one of those cases that you'd find like at the 99-cent store, and it says it's a Hollywood classic. And I even talked about the quality of this. As I said, it's like they took it from a VHS and they put it on DVD, and a lot of people, a lot of collectors have seen that over the years. But the thing that gets me is it's supposed to be this digital sound, and it's supposed to be so awesome and stuff like that, made by Double D Productions. Double D. Double dicks. The audio is crap. Like at any given time, like when I watch anything on my television or any of the other TVs in here, about like at 12, 15, that's like usually anything you can listen to is about that. I had to put this up to like 57 to hear it, and that's just like just dialogue. Like I have to turn it down when like big scenes like with like where it wasn't dialogue and it was just like all music. I had to change, like I had to turn it down like to like 40 or something. It was weird. It was like the dialogue, it's like they didn't use like the audio correctly. Like they didn't, like, I guess, like I don't know if the movie just sucked or it was the transfer from the VHS to the DVD, but it was just fucking terrible. It was like all of a sudden it would go like da 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 da. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I like go up and down my fucking volume. I'm like, I mean, it was just like, seriously, I'm paying 78 minutes of just torture at this point. It pissed me off to no end. This movie's just terrible, and it was like, it was worse than watching like some films that are really bad, like 555. Even though that movie I could stand watching like probably like 10,000 times. This movie I could probably stand watching one more time before I want to rip it in half and kill. I just want to take this piece of shard of this DVD and just cut my eyeballs out. Ugh. Anyways, don't fucking watch this movie. And by the way, I looked it up on IMDb. There's no actors from this have really starred in anything else. There's like the fat guy Buck starred in like one other film, and the guy Chris Lechler went on to like edit such TV shows as Best Week Ever and stuff like that. But other than that, like nobody went from this film. Nobody went anywhere, and that's kind of a good thing because it's just terrible. Making up for snuff films. You want to see a good snuff movie, don't see that. Go see a Serbian film. That'll change your life. Especially one scene. By the way, like, this little side note, my sociology teacher wants a copy of that to do social experiments on, like, to like have it, I guess, for friends or some shit. It's like, man, I want to do Final Cut as a social experiment, see how much people could stand crappy-ass movies. Anyways, yet again, this has been Mr. Rich talking about number 3 of the 5 more of the worst movies that I own. And this one, Spent Youth, aka Final Cut, is definitely one of my motherfucking worst. Don't find this movie. I know it's $3 on eBay. Don't spend it because it is fucked up and terrible. Why do I do it? Why do I watch this shit? Maybe it's for you. Maybe I'm just a masochist. I don't know. Anyways, I'll be back with number 2 real soon with my buddy Mike. See ya YouTubes and Facebooks and Blip TVs. Bye.